Hi, I'm Kat. I'm a singer and musician, and I want to tell you about my new project. So, a few years ago, my husband and I adopted a little boy, and we quickly discovered that in the early days, one of the only ways we could really get him to do anything was to sing to him. So, we would sing things like, "Can you put your socks on, socks on, socks on? Can you put your socks on all by yourself?" And we found that he's a very anxious little boy, and when we were singing, it seemed to kind of calm him down enough to actually concentrate on what we wanted him to do. It sort of let him focus a bit. When we did our adoption prep groups, when we were learning about what it was going to be like to adopt, we learned a lot about parenting children who have not had an easy start in life, and how you have to fill in the gaps for them, kind of the developmental gaps and the experiences that they might have missed out on. And so one of the things that we do a lot at home is a lot of very nurturing stuff, and kind of treating our son almost like he's younger than he is, and just giving him some of those early experiences that he hasn't already had. And I became really fascinated about thinking about how I could use music to do this. I was looking at a thing called infant directed speech, which is that kind of sing-song way that parents often use to speak to their children. It's the kind of, "Hello, how are you? Oh, how are you doing?" And so it's kind of quite melodic, it's rhythmic, and it's using different tones and timbres in the voice. And I was looking at a study which said that actually, when you look at the musical elements of that infant directed speech, so you look at the pitch that's being used and the rhythms and the tonalities, then actually it's pretty consistent even across different cultures with different musical backgrounds and different parts of the world, which I found fascinating because it suggests to me that there's something in that is kind of naturally wired into us that is creating these musical elements of communication and speech kind of in early years. And then I started to read a bit more about it, and there's all sorts of research out there, and things like when a child is engaged in a musical rhythmic activity with an adult, there's been a study that shows that the child will then behave more helpfully towards that adult afterwards compared to an adult who has not been involved or has been involved in a non-rhythmic way in the activity. So there's really like so many aspects of early communication are kind of built around these musical and rhythmic patterns. So I started to think, would it be possible for me to take these musical patterns that have been identified in infant directed speech, and could I build them into new songs? So the theory behind that being that I could start to fill in some of those developmental gaps for my son that he hasn't had in his early life, but I could do it in a way that's kind of relevant to him now. So what I plan to do in this project is to write a whole album of songs specifically for children who have experienced the care system, adopted children, fostered, special guardianship, and I want to address some of the issues that are going to be important to them. So I'm going to need your help with this. I need to know, what do you want me to sing about? What do you want songs about? What issues come up in your house a lot? Do you need help with routines or getting dressed in the morning, or about going to school or friendships? Or do you want stuff that you can sing with your children to kind of like make it a game and a play kind of activity? Or would you like a CD to put on in the car and sing along to as you're going, or to listen to at bedtime and that kind of thing? I really want to know what you want from this, because I'd like it to be something that works for lots of people and not just my family, because that's kind of the point.
Know